Okay, so you're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So yes, so what I was saying is, the interview is like an examination. So you prepare a ton of questions, and in the interview, maybe they'll ask you 5 questions, 7 questions max, right? But our preparation should be for 1,000 questions. Okay, so today what I will do is I'll try to cover as much as possible, Venkat. Okay, and tomorrow day after I want you to prepare. So I don't want to overload your brain with lot of stuff, because the more you do your personal studies, that is when you will learn. Okay, so today we will quickly speak about strength and weakness. Okay, so this question can be asked directly or indirectly. They could straight away ask you what are your strengths. They could straight away ask you what is your weakness, or they could say, how would you handle a difficult situation, or they could say, what are you not good at, or they could say what are your challenges. So it all kind of drills down to uh, one question, which is strength and weakness. Okay, so when they ask you this question directly or indirectly, what is your strength? Okay, the first thing to talk about is what are you good at, what is your strong fort, right? What is that you can do even with your eyes closed. So that is the best thing, that is the best asset that you have. So you will always talk about that strength. Okay, so regardless of what, not in your personality, right? Strength should be related to a corporate sector, a company related strength. Okay, so normally what people do is they exaggerate. They say that, I am this, I am that, I'm a positive thinker, I value time. All that is just literature. Okay, so people don't want to hear English literature when they ask the question. So they're asking a question, what is your strength, which means they want a simple answer, right? 2 line 3 line answer they want. They don't want any literature. Some people, what they do is they mug up things, and they try to give a lot of English, but that is not the right way, right? You should answer it as simple as possible and as accurate as possible. Okay, so when I say strength and weakness, the first formula is, um, you must find a strength that is required for the role of the job description. Okay, so for example, you are applying for an IT field. Okay, but you are from the pharmaceutical field, where you are completely different, right? But how will that strength correlate with your IT field, right? So that is how you'll have to find a strength where you can answer that particular question. Second thing is, quickly tell a small story about your strength. Okay, so any small story, like how this was an issue and how you overcome it with your immense knowledge, with the background and experience that you had. Make it a small story and say it. So maybe in 45 seconds to 1 minute, you should be able to answer this question without any hiccups. You cannot take your own time. Okay, so time is of utmost importance in an interview. Always remember this. Okay, the interviewer, they will be interviewing 100 people, so they will be really bugged up, asking the same question again and again and listening to you. Okay, so when you are in interview, you should value their time as much as possible and keep your answers short. Okay, so maximum 45 seconds to 1 minute for any question that you should be able to answer. Okay, so when they ask you this question, coming back, what is your strength and what is your weakness, right? So they'll ask you both. You can face it, my strengths are so and so, my weakness are so and so. So weakness we'll talk about later. Strengths, okay, 99% of the candidates make this mistake. Okay, they give generic statements when they say, what is your strength. So they say I am hardworking person, I manage time well, all those things, right? Like I said, that is literature. Don't give that to the interviewer. He would have already listened to it. Okay, so make sure that your strength is unique, at the same time it is very honest. Okay, so don't make something up, because if you make something up, the interviewer will always catch you. Okay, so something that is unique, related to your job, come up with that strength, and it should always correlate with your job description. Okay, and try to see if you can give some sort of evidence for the strength, right? So otherwise it becomes useless. If you say I'm hardworking, that is my strength, where is the evidence, right? So you can say, the lawyers in the court, they argue about 100 things. They try to add emotional value. They try to kind of psychologically break down the opponent or things like that. But the court will not listen to any of that garbage. Court wants evidence, right? So based on evidence, facts, the decision will be made, right? So if you're saying something, back it up with some evidence, very some evidence. So that is fine. Okay. So I made a note of some pointers here, Venkat. So I don't know how many of these strengths that you already have, or if you can correlate with it. Don't say all the 8, but if you can capture a few, and then if you're able to relate it with your job description and your previous employment, then it will be fantastic. So first thing is, you're highly disciplined and focused. Okay, so this is something that shows your personality, right? What do you mean by disciplined? You can simply say, I don't eat outside food, I avoid it. I don't drink sugary drinks, and that is a simple way of disciplining yourself. And you are focused, right? So when you do anything, you want to learn. So if you have that learning mindset, you can always say that, yes, I am focused. The next thing is flexible and available to help, right? So this is something that you can say that, you can call me anytime, I'm ready to work, I'm always available. So that flexibility should be there, right? So that is your strength. And use this word, third one. They like these kind of words, Venkat. So when you say disciplined, flexible, resourceful, right? So these are the words that will catch the interviewer's mind, right? And you are backing it up with an explanation. So when you say I'm resourceful, how are you resourceful? You have immense knowledge, right? So you have done projects, you have problem solving skills. So with these, you are a resourceful person. Okay. Next thing you can say is I am trustworthy, because this is very important. When you're working in the IT field, when you're working with multiple clients, it is important that the company trusts you, right? Because there is so many scams and everything, data integrity that is going on. You must clearly say that I am an honest person. In my entire 20-year career, I have been honest, and I maintain confidentiality and honesty and team tasks, everything I maintain as a trustworthy person. So that line you must maintain. Next thing you can say is time oriented. So they must know that you respect their time, your time, company's time, every time, because time is money. In IT field, time is money, but you cannot say that literally, because they must also not know that you're too much money minded, right? But you must understand that time is money, right? How is time money? If you keep the money in the bank, for some time you get interest. If you take a loan, for some time you have to pay interest, right? So time is always money. Money is measured in time, right? The next thing is ETA. So if someone gives you a task and says that, okay, get this done tomorrow, and you say, tomorrow is Saturday, I can't do it, let's do it on Monday, which means you're not valuing their time, you're not understanding the sense of emergency. You agree for ETA and then you don't do it. Those are the things that are not a good thing, right? So you can tell them, I'm time oriented. I value your time. I value company's time. At the same time, you can say you're commercially and financially aware. Okay, so these are the very strong words, and it also sounds very simple, right? When you say commercial and financial awareness, that shows that you value companies time as well, right? Stakeholders time, investors time, because in IT field this is very important. Someone says, I want this report, I want to see the final demo, you must be ready to follow that timeline. So this you can add it as a strength. Ideator and creativity. So you can tell them that you think outside the box. Again, there has to be some evidence, right? If you don't have evidence, this is just another line in English, right? So when you say think outside the box, you can simply say, like, some idea that you came up with on a project, right? Or some suggestion that you gave to your manager recently or to your colleague recently that helped them to do their job better. Okay, so something like that, any idea, so any evidence that you can give along with your strength, that will be good. So if you call yourself creative, if you call yourself an ideator who comes up with ideas and thinks outside the box, back it up with an evidence. Small example would be good. The next thing is you are a fast learner. Okay, so when you call yourself a fast learner, that is a good strength to have. You can tell them that, I believe in learning and knowledge and gaining knowledge and accumulation for my growth, which means you are very much interested to grow in your career. So in order to grow, you must learn and accumulate knowledge, and that has to be done fast, right? So you can say, I'm a fast learner. Finally, passionate and committed. Okay, so this is the strong word. They will ask, what do you mean by passionate and committed? You must say that, this is something that I have loved to do even when I was in college. This is something that I wanted to do because it interests me. I'm excited to do this. So which is why I took pharma. And then, I'm committed. Then you can say, I'm committed to learn new things. I am trying to jump into a different venture, to have a change, to start a different phase in my career. I am trying to get into IT, but not totally a different field, but within my lab management, I am trying to do this. Okay, so see how you can fit all these strengths and back it up with an example, right? Because I will not be able to tell you anything about pharma, because I have no idea what you guys do in pharma. That is completely up to you, the technicalities of it. Okay, but I'm just giving you a generic idea, where you will be able to complete the puzzle, right? So I am only giving you the dots. Joining the dots is in your hands, Venkat. Okay, so when you join the dots, make a pattern, that is in your hands. I am only giving you the dots in this session. Okay, all right. So some small statement that I made for strength. So when they ask, what is your strength, you can say, my strength include the fact that I am commercially aware, which means every time I work, I keep in mind that time is of utmost importance. Every work that we do has a cost involved, and hence I try to be as efficient and effective as possible in a given period of time. If the business can do things quicker and efficiently, there will be a lower cost and higher profits. So I have a mindset that if I work hard and help the business grow, then I can grow. My second strength include working as a team with a collaborative approach. I can say that with personal
Bharat garu,
experience. Yeah.
you're sharing video. No, you didn't share.
You're not able to see it?
No. I couldn't able to see. I wrote these points. I didn't able to see your screen.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so you don't have to make a note here. I have it. I can, later share this PPT with you as well. Okay, so that is not a problem. So the pointers that we just spoke about is on your screen. Okay, so let me go ahead. Okay, so this is the strength small statement that I made, which you can probably utilize. You can add more pointers to it, and you can add more relevant strengths related to your job description as well. So here's what you can say, Venkat, when they ask this question. My strength include the fact that I'm commercially aware, which means every time I work, I keep in mind the time is of utmost importance. Every work that we do has a cost involved, and hence I try to be as efficient as and effective as possible in a given period. If the business can do things quicker and efficiently, there will be a lower cost and higher profits. So I have a mindset that if I work and help the business grow, then I can grow. My second strength include working as a team with a collaborative approach. I can say with personal experience, I have helped others honestly and been respectful to everyone's opinion, and colleagues speak high of me and are very helpful when I need. Finally, maybe one of my greatest strengths is my trustworthiness, and I can positively tell you that you can definitely trust me with any kind of work, and I will try my best to achieve it ethically. So in this statement, what are you telling here, Venkat? So you are saying you're commercially aware, which means you value time, you value money, and you value efficiency in a given period of time. The second line, you're saying you want the business to grow, which means you want Infosys to grow in that particular field, because when company grows, you grow. When company makes money, they give you bonus, right? When company grows, we continue to get our work, our salary hike and everything. So that you're saying it as a strength. You believe that making money for the company is important rather than anything for us, because company grows, business grows, that means automatically we grow. Then you are again saying that you are okay as a team player, collaborative approach, you will do it, you will be honest, and you will respect everyone's opinion, because in IT field this is important, right? It's not like you are an individual contributor in the company, right? You are doing one portion of the job, another portion is done by another person, another portion is done by another person. So collective output comes from everybody, right? So coordination is extremely important. You're saying that you will do that, right? At the end, you're talking about data integrity and trustworthiness. So a simple statement that I made that you can utilize in your interview. Okay. All right. Any questions you have till now, Venkat?
Regarding if you go and ask that, because the interviewer is a different opinion, like
All right. So the next question is, what is your weakness? Okay. So this is definitely a question that will be asked in the interview, because they want to know what you are not good at. Because are you trainable? If you're not good at something, can I train you on that? So if they feel that yes, you are trainable, then you are an easy pick for them, right? So when they ask you what is your weakness, never say none. Okay, sorry about that. So never ever say my weakness is none. Okay, and never say that you are perfect. Okay, that is just simply impractical, and nobody is perfect. Everyone has weakness. But normally what people do is they tell a weakness about their personality. They tell a weakness about their personal behavior. This is very wrong thing to do. A weakness is not make it about yourself. Okay, so if you make it about yourself, then you are degrading yourself, so don't do it. So a weakness is something that you don't know and something you are willing to learn, right? So a weakness should be a skill set that you do not have at the moment, and it should be followed by what are you doing to learn or overcome that weakness, or learn or have that skill set. Okay, for example, if you want to name a weakness, okay, something that you're trying to learn, for example, you be honest in that, there's no harm in it, right? So you said that when it is a forum of people, I kind of get stuck, and I'm unable to present myself or present the content clearly in an open forum. That is one of my weakness, but I am trying to learn things and try to go through some development so that I can overcome that weakness, right? So here you are honest, you are not trying to make up something or give some English literature there. So honestly, if some weakness that you have, say it, because something that can be learned, right? So weakness is never about your personal behavior, it is about what you don't know and what are you doing to learn it, right? So you should back it up with some work in progress, what you're doing. Okay, so for example, if you have the skill set, I have ideas, right? If you say I have creativity, but sometimes I am very shy, right? I am shy to speak in an open forum, right? I'm not able to figure out how I can effectively communicate and put across things that is already there in my mind, right? I don't know how to present it in the correct way, but I'm working on it on a daily basis, and I'm taking help from some of my friends, my brothers, sisters, so that I can improve in this area. So then the interviewer knows that, okay, now your weakness is something that you don't know, and you're doing something to overcome that weakness. Okay, so next thing is the questions that you ask for the technicality of it. Okay, so this is the most important. So I might not be able to help you clearly in everything, but technical, if you're getting into IT lab management, there are few things that they might ask. So the list is very small right now. Maybe I'll see, and if I can add more to it before sending you the final deck, right? So the first and foremost thing is, they will ask you, what is the definition of a lab management, right? So when I say definition, it is very clear. Okay, so if I ask you the definition of velocity, or if I ask you the definition of electromagnetic spectrum, the definition is very clear, right? There is no F's and B's there, right? So it is clean. So you should always know the definition of a lab management software. Okay, so the definition, you can simply say that LIMS is a software tool that will allow you to track and the stages of sample arrivals, storage, testing, manage the overall samples, then collect the testing results and associate that outcome to improve the lab productivity and efficiency. So this is the market definition of the LIMS software. Second thing that you must know is, why do we need it? Why do we even need a LIMS, right? Why do we need a interactive lab management software? Why can't it be done in a simple text or a ledger format, right? So here you can say that all data is readily available, but without LIMS, data management is not possible, right? LIMS helps in collecting precise test results. Not only that, it has a database which contains all samples and its users, instrument data, cost and invoice details, right? It also contains SOP and various other documentations and workflow. With a strong database, it becomes easy to generate desired reports and use those reports for certification of analysis. It provides a framework to overall manage the lab and workflow to get good results. Okay, so this is the actual thing that you will say when they ask, why do a lab even need LIMS? Okay, and then they might ask you, what are the latest software that you have heard about that is already in the market, right? And then they might ask you, tell me top features or top 5 benefits of the LIMS software. Okay, and then what type of software do my lab need? Okay, so every lab will have a different requirement. Okay, and based on that, the software has to be decided. So what are the things that you will look for? For example, let's say you are running your own company, right? You are the CEO of a company and you have to make a decision to upgrade your old software, right? So for example, in your lab where you are working in J&J, maybe you have a software that is 10 years old, right? And it is everything is old there, right? So you want something that is more interactive, more fast, something that gives you precise results at a much faster time, and all those things, right? So what is that you look for as a CEO of a company to improve your software? The first and foremost thing is, if you are a CEO, you will look at the lowest cost possible, because if you're ready to spend money, you can buy anything, right? That is not the point. You must always ensure that the cost is less, which means your software must not require you to purchase additional hardware components and things like that. Second thing is, your software should support existing data migration. For example, if I have a database and test results stored for the last 5 years, and if you're bringing in a new software, I don't want my old data to be corrupt or old data to be left out. I want that data to be integrated in the new system, and then it should run smoothly. So this would be a requirement, correct? So legacy workflows, cost and all should be optimum. The third thing is, obviously, the tool should provide adequate security on reports and data integrity. Okay, so these are the some things that the clients will look for. So this question might be asked in a different way also. What do you think a client will look for in a software, right? If you're getting into IT, so you might start using these kind of examples. So currently, the next question here: what are the two types of LIMS that we currently have in the market? There are only two types. Okay, number one, it is a cloud-based service. Okay, so cloud-based service means everything is managed in the server. A service provider is doing it. For example, Infosys, right? So they are the service providers. They only provide service. They will not do anything, right? So they will have a server. Everything is managed at Infosys, but they are providing that software through a cloud-based network. So the client don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to worry about big hard drives. They don't have to worry about computers getting crashed, or even in case of fire or any other emergency, they don't have to bother, because all their data and management is done from a cloud, from a different location, right? So that is the main benefit of having a cloud-based LIMS software. The second one is, you don't provide a service, you sell the software and you're done with it. For example, let's say Infosys is developing a software on LIMS. They sell that software to the lab and they forget about it, right? So then it is lab's problem. So lab has to get it installed on their systems. Lab has to make sure that it runs smoothly. The lab will have to make sure that their employees are trained on it, and their data is saved locally. So all these things they will have to make sure in the second, which is the software based tool. Okay, so always remember, 99% of the clients would like to go with the first option, which has multiple benefits, which is the cloud-based LIMS.
The second one, whatever you saying, that is the web basis, because of company people only can manage the servers and they have to protect the data from our respective company. I'm not asking vendor. Whoever is selling to that person is not responsible for anything. Am I right?
Yes, yes. See, for example, if I am selling you a car, that doesn't mean that I sell you a car and I wash my hands of it, right? So if I am selling you a car, I must make sure that once in 6 months I give you a service. If your car breaks down, any engine parts go bad, I am supposed to provide you those parts for your car. right? And at the end, if you need any help with your car, I'm supposed to do it. I'm also supposed to give you all the necessary documents of the car. So similarly, when you are supporting a particular software, you are responsible for it in most aspects.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you first I can whatever you saying the cloud basis I can understand because I am a vendor to sell. I am a vendor to provide this software to use it your company. Can I manage the data for in our organization? So that is very good because of the customer will not bother about how what is the data. Is the data is a corrupted or data is a high something like that will not worry about. Vendor
Yeah.
will be taking care. So the second one, whatever you say, I have a developed software and I'm going to sell it some customer.
Yeah.
The customer is taking up that software and install their systems and use it to manage the customer only. Whatever is whatever is barriers are going on their software, what are the problems are coming from anything, e customer only responsibility. I mean to say the drives and database, everything. Customer only can take a responsibility for it. Mean to say.
Yes, that is correct. So here it will be contract basis. For example, I can say that you are supposed to buy all the necessary hardware, everything setup has to be done from your side. We will only provide you the software, and then maybe the contract might say that okay, we will provide you support for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, and after that you're on your own, or after that if you still need support, there will be a charge, right? So there will be cost involved there. So again, you can have different types of contracts in this.
Okay, that what you call cloud basis or web. The second one is web basis. Web.
Yes, you can call it web based, you can call it non cloud based, or you can call it local, um, a local system. There's no,
Intranet.
yeah, there's,
Intranet.
yes.
The cloud basis you can use it in a uh, network basis. You say cloud basis.
Yes, so when I say cloud basis, we will give you dedicated connections to the server. Okay, for example, let's say you access Gmail, right? You get, let's say you get 500 emails, in one day you get 500 emails. Do you think those 500 emails with all the documents, files, photos, do you think all those emails are saved in your computer? No. So those emails are saved in the Google server. Okay, so the server might be anywhere. The server might be in US, it might be in Indonesia, it might be in Sweden. It doesn't matter where the server is, right? They will have multiple servers. Any company always will have multiple servers to ensure that if there is a disaster, this is again a disaster management, right? So to avoid disaster, and if a server collapses, then it's a big data loss to the company. So they will have multiple servers, and multiple servers will be in different states, different countries. So if you're receiving those 500 emails with attachments and heavy data, it is always saved on the server, right? But you have an access. You go through their website, you put in your credentials, and you specifically access emails that are sent to you. You will not be able to access anything else from the Google server, right? Only your personal emails, right? So this is the kind of service that Google Cloud will provide. For example, let's say Infosys is providing a cloud-based service to Johnson & Johnson, just an example, right? So and let's say you are an employee in Johnson & Johnson, example, and you connect it. You use the software that is connected. So what is the first step? Your accessibility through the network. Okay, through the network, it could be an intranet network or it could be a World Wide Web network, but you are securely connecting to the cloud. So the software is directly loaded on the server. It's nothing is there on your local system, right? So you are directly connecting it to their server, and then you're using their services, using those the tools that they are providing. Okay.
That is web cloud-based server. Because of
Yes.
them maintain the server, everything, and the database. They will only respond.
Yes. Yes. So they will not ask you hard questions. They will ask you very simple questions because they want to know, if you have a basic idea about the software requirements, because you are not a coder, right? So you don't have to write coding. You only have to provide suggestions. Maybe you have to do testings. You have to see how things work. For example, if you are writing a pH value of certain item, what is that particular column should include or exclude, what are that requirements, what is that you should avoid. So those type of things that you should know. And then they will they might ask you about how you will manage the clients, because the clients are the ones who give a requirement, right? So they will say, I need point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 in my software. Okay, are you able to do this? So you must understand their requirement, and then you should be able to correlate, right? So to understand that ability, an interviewer will ask you some very basic things about LIMS if you understand the requirement. Okay, and some technicality, because they themselves will not know everything. If an HR is taking the interview, HR will not know all these things, right? So they will not know what is cloud-based LIMS and all. So again, it depends on who is asking the question. If someone who is in core technical, if he is asking the question, then it might be tough. So you cannot give something and all. So if you have this knowledge about how the entire ecosystem works, right, then you can frame your answers very easily, right? So in technical, these are just a few questions that I've given, just an overview, but you must add a lot of questions yourself. Okay, so let's move on. Some basic questions that they might ask you here, Venkat. This and all you must actually, will not go through each and every question, but see how you can, answer this. I want you to, open a Word file or a text notepad and write answers to all these questions. Okay. Just imagine you're already in an interview and it is an examination. Take a notebook and answer it, or if you want to type it on a notepad, you can do that. Maybe we can sit together and go through your answers. Okay, I have answers for all these questions. I can share it with you. Once I do that, you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, sure. Can you go the previous slides? Just want to know previous slides. I know that answer, but I could I can express in different way. But whatever you saying, that is very good. Articulated and a very good explanation to easily understand the interviewer.
Yes,
So I need
yes.
to see that. Very nice.
So always remember the 4 quadrants, Venkat. So the 4 quadrants is number 1, technical, right? So in the technical, they can ask you formulas, they can ask you metrics, instruments, data samples, they can ask you reports. So within technical, they can ask you anything. So you must learn how the entire actual software works, what are the attributes inside the software of LIMS. So the technical part you must learn. The second quadrant is people, right? So people means simply your own personality, what kind of a person you are, your growth mindset, how do you handle problems, how do you handle deadlines, how do you handle customers, stakeholders, investors, clients, colleagues, managers, how do you handle timeline, which is very critical for testing. So when it comes to people, how do you handle people, right? So that is the most important thing. Third quadrant is cost. how much money oriented are you? Because end of the day, everything drills down to money, right? So time is money, output is money, the work that you're doing is money, the salary is money, our investment is money, everything is money. So are you cost oriented? Are you, understand the requirements? Do you work hard towards the deadline? The fourth quadrant is business as a whole, right? So how do you see the business as a whole? Do you understand your customers well? Do you understand requirements and stakeholders well? So overall business acumen, that is important. So every time an interviewer asks you a question, it will be one among the four quadrants. It cannot be outside this at all, right? So the four quadrants are technical, people, cost, business. So remember these four quadrants. Any question that is asked is within these four quadrants. It will fit in any one of the four quadrants. Okay, so I will share you all these questions and answers that I have. It's a too much of text, okay, but if you go through it, you will be able to understand and correlate.